What's up everybody, Chris here, and today in this video I want to talk about the 5 most useful languages in the world today. That being said, this is my opinion, and it all really depends on what you plan to do and what your goals are in language learning. So let's get right into this countdown. Ranking at number 5, we have Arabic. Arabic is from the Afroasiatic language family. It's the 5th most spoken language in the world, and it has 290 million native speakers. Arabic has influenced so many languages in the world today and is an official language in 27 states. And as you can see here on this highlighted map, that includes countries in Northern Africa, the Middle East, and the Arabian Peninsula. A few good reasons to learn Arabic is because it'll give you a better understanding of Muslim culture, and a lot of Arabic-speaking nations are a fast-growing market for trade, and there's a high demand and low supply of Arabic speakers in the Western world today. Ranking at number 4, we have French. French is from the Indo-European language family, and there's an estimated 75 million native French speakers, but a total of 338 million French speakers worldwide. So aside from France, about half of Africa speaks French, and that's a significant amount of countries that speak French. Now, as you can see here on the highlighted map, that's a lot of Central African countries speaking French, and up on the northwest, it's a lighter shade of blue because French is not as dominant there as it is in the darker blue countries. So, if you look down at Madagascar to the east, a little island off of Africa, French is spoken there as well. Now, if we make our way to the Americas, you can see that Canada also has a French-speaking population, particularly in the Northeast. If we move down to the United States, we have populations up in the Northeast as well, and also in Louisiana. And you can also see there's French speakers down in the Caribbean and parts of Eastern Asia. I also think it's really cool that French is very heavily used in 3 separate continents, so that really makes it useful for somebody who likes to travel a lot. Moving on to number 3, we have Spanish, which is also an Indo-European language. Spanish is an official language in 20 countries, with an estimated 410 million native speakers and 550 million speakers worldwide. Now, looking at the highlighted map, you can see obviously Spain speaks Spanish because this is where the language originated from. And if you look over here to the left on the Americas, you can see that Spanish is really heavily used, especially in South America and Central America, and it's still the 2nd most spoken language in the United States. And of course, we can't forget the Caribbean islands such as Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico, where Spanish is also an official language. And if you look southeast of China and the Philippines, you can see there's also Spanish influence there. So it's pretty obvious that Spanish is a really dominant language in the Americas. And with the number of speakers rapidly growing, it makes for great employment potential, especially in the United States. It's also a really nice language to know if you're going to be traveling in the Americas, because as you can see, there's so many different countries that speak Spanish, and they all have different cultures and traditions, so it actually really is a nice language to know. Ranking at number 2, we have English. Once again, English is an Indo-European language with about 427 million native speakers, and I find it extremely interesting that there's an estimated 900 to 1,500 million people who speak it as their 2nd language. English is an official language in 54 countries and 27 non-sovereign entities. English also increases your job opportunities all over the world and is highly sought by foreign employers because it's a very dominant business language. Looking at the highlighted map, you can see that English is used in North America in both United States and Canada, and a little portion down below in South America. Also, if we make our way across the Atlantic Ocean to the United Kingdom, you can see that Great Britain obviously speaks English. And if we make our way down to the African continent, you can see that there are plenty of countries that use English. We also have India, Papua New Guinea, and the Philippines, which have a significant amount of English speakers. And of course Australia and New Zealand. I also think it's important to note that English is the language of the internet, by a large margin too, at 55%, with the next language only being at 6%. English dominates the internet, and it also dominates the entertainment industry, where musicians and celebrities are extremely influential and highest paid in the world, and the highest grossing movies in the world are made in Hollywood. And finally, ranking at number 1 is Mandarin Chinese. Mandarin Chinese is part of the Sino-Tibetan language family and has 960 million native speakers. China is the most populated country in the world, and Mandarin is the most spoken language in the world, so that in itself makes it one of the most useful languages to learn. So you can see on the highlighted map, it's obviously spoken in China the most, But I mean, you can see the influence that this language has had all over the world. I mean, you have it in North America, South America, Africa, Russia, Europe, Australia. I mean, it's everywhere. So that's why this language is so important. Chinese culture is over 5,000 years old and has ancient traditions that make it extremely interesting for someone to want to learn the language. China also has a huge export market for any country that takes export seriously, so Chinese speakers are also sought out all over the world for this reason, among many others. So I hope this video was very useful for everybody. Again, I'll go over through a quick recap. At number 1, we have Mandarin Chinese. At number 2, we have English. At number 3, we have Spanish. At number 4, we have French. And at number 5, we have Arabic. And these, in my opinion, are the top 5 most useful languages in the world today. And I mean, if you look at all the highlighted maps that we looked at earlier, with these 5 languages acquired, you can get around the world pretty damn well. That being said, I also have 3 honorable mentions, and those languages are Portuguese, Russian, and German, because I think that these 3 languages are also important. So thanks for watching, and let me know what your thoughts are. Until next time.